Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk.
You know what I'm saying? Because and I heard one of the youngsters out here, I think is it Joyner Lucas? I think that's his name. And he was saying that he blamed the generation.
I seen that.
He blames the generation for like talking about drugs and like glorifying it.
Yeah.
But like I just said, bro, we use this. Hip hop was something totally different when it first started, and this is why you youngsters need to educate yourself on what hip hop was. This is why. Because we didn't glamorize a damn thing. This was our craft. This was our culture. We was telling our story. They saw was money in it. They took it and they pimped it out.
Right.
They glamorized it. We were simply, like I said, telling our story. This is stuff we lived. They took our lives. And made it seem like to the kids, oh, this is something lovely. Maybe you want to try this.
Yeah.
When we said in a lot of our songs, this ain't what you want to do. Don't be like us. Be better than it. We doing it, telling y'all this, so maybe you can skip this part and try another way.
Yeah, and not even to denote the cat that tried to say, that he blamed the rapper. You know what I'm saying? He on the right trail, but you can't blame the puppet, bro. You got to blame the puppeteer. See, a puppet can't move without no strings if you ever seen a puppet show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't trying to be funny about nothing like that, but that's just pretty much how this game goes. The puppet cannot move. It's just an empty doll right there until somebody puts up and pulls those strings. So you kind of on the right trail. You just blaming the wrong party about this. Are the MCs doing it? Yeah. That's why they hand select these dudes at 19 and 18 and 17 and 16. It's getting lower and lower. Because you know what? When you get somebody that never had no money before, and you offer them a platform to be doing what they doing, and what they doing right now is a bunch of ignorance. But they don't know that because a lot of cats ain't got no mothers and no fathers. You know what I'm saying? At the same time. If they got a mother, they ain't got no daddy. If they even got that. So you got these dudes who all of a sudden got a large amount of wealth, and they basking in ignorance because it's all they know. And I choose to say ignorance, not stupid, because ignorant means you just ain't hip to something. You know what I'm saying? You just ain't wise to the things that's going on around you. So young cats, like my man said earlier, we ain't trying to bash nobody. We ain't upset because young dudes at 16 and 15 is jumping out of Rolls Royces or whatever. I hope for that. I want you to be flourish and have your family and stuff like that. But look at the cost that it's costing us. You might not know that, but that's why this show Truth Talk is going on right now.
Check it out. Corrections Corporations of America.
Yeah.
Which is known as the CCA, which is the biggest name in the private prison industry.
Yep.
They contacted 48 states and offered to buy their prisons. However, the stipulations of the deal stated that before the deal was made, they had to ensure that the state that they would be able to maintain a 90% prison capacity a year. Meaning they had to guarantee the state that they would be able to keep the prisons full at all times. And who would be the main candidates to be put in there? You already know. Blacks, which are the majority, and Latinos. Bottom line.
Now, we can't gloss over that number real quick. 90% occupancy rates. Hell, Best Western and Holiday Inn don't got that. The Waldorf Astoria it's probably equivalent to the Waldorf Astoria. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Or going to the Ritz-Carlton. 90% mean that snaps.
And then, this is when you have to stop and think, like, how can they possibly ensure that they can keep the prisons at a 90% capacity rate? What kind of devilish scheme is they plotting this time? I'm talking about. It's always something, man. It's always something.
Yo, and even to go along with that real quick, it's a place in Arizona. It's a prison in Arizona that did not get the 90% occupancy rate. So what had happened, the state had to pay the private prison $3 million. And the state don't like doing that. So what the state is going to turn around and do is they're going to have, that's why they're going to, you see a dude going to jail a little bit longer than he should for something that's like, damn, he went to jail that long for that? That's how they repay that back, because no state wants to pay no $3 million fine or a penalty that they must pay to the private system organization.
Now, after this deal was made, 2 months later, an anonymous email was sent out to various but a selective few members of the music and publishing industries that gave an account of a secret meeting that took place where it was determined that hip-hop would be manipulated to drive up privatized prison profits.
Damn.
That's the letter we just read. That's the letter that we just read when, what I'm saying, that same thing we just read. So we already know that 90% of, we already know that 90% of what we read, watch, and listen is controlled by only six main media companies.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about this topic on our weapons of mass destruction episode. So you ever notice how a lot of these new rap artists come out, and before anybody has really heard of them or their music, they're already famous,
star already,
with millions of followers and all this expensive jewelry, and you like, yo, who the hell is this? Where they come from? It's because I'm a music connoisseur. So I'm usually up on all the hot music and artists all day long, young to old. Plus, we do the Krayzie show. We play everything from younger to older. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of young cats is coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, yo, how did they gain such massive attention and notoriety this fast, but nobody has heard their music? You know what I'm saying? And that's when we have to remember that the powers that be, they control everything.
Oh yeah.
They control the avenues necessary to manufacture any celebrity and create any trend at any time. Here goes some more facts.
Talk to him.
Time Warner, as the owner of Warner Brothers Records, among many other labels that he owned, can not only sign an artist to a recording contract, but as the owner also of Entertainment Weekly, can see to it that the artist gets the front cover next week. That's a hell of a plug.
Oh, smack dab right in the middle.
That's a hell of a plug. So
that means
yeah. And this is without any consideration of their music whatsoever. The artist will be an overnight star.
Yep.
So they're not signing these artists because they possess extreme talent. Not all of them. Some of them are talented.
Yeah.
But a lot of these artists, they're not signing them because they possess talent. They're signing a lot of these artists because they're great influencers of bullshit.
Yeah.
They're great influencers of bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's the truth. And they're running around blinded by all the diamonds and the money and the women. You know the life.
Yeah.
It's a cycle that just continues to seem to keep going and going, and it seems like it's never going to be broken.
You know what? In the coldest part, they tried to even hide their names and put it under an umbrella called the Vanguard Group Incorporated. You know what I'm saying? But just like my man already said with the Time Warner, they one of them, Sony and Universal. Those are the big three right there. And I'm not scared to say them, Sony, Universal, and Time Warner. Those are the ones who have the largest share in the prison system independently for the private prison system. And by the way, the private prison systems, they have out of 150 million inmates incarcerated throughout the U.S., now it's up to 2.2, they house 8% of that. So, you know what I'm saying, 8% of that, you know what I'm saying, that's what they're doing right now. So they're doing big business. Like I said, they're making $1.7 billion a year on the private prison system alone. And it's going to be gumming up soon. It's going to be getting up a little, the 8%, give it a couple of years, it's going to be at 20%. You know what I'm saying? Because the taxpayers, the initial plan that they had was saying, you know what, it's going to be easier on the taxpayers with the private prison system. Now, do the stats on it, the private prison system costs just as much to a taxpayer as it does to the state and the federal prisons.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So there is no, we did this for it's a break on the citizens. They ain't thinking about no damn citizens, man. They thinking about that 1.7 bill a year, extra money. Plus, the last thing I'll say about this, and you know, ain't the last thing. We'll say where'd all the factories go and all the jobs in the United States go for all that? The United States don't make nothing or manufacture nothing no more. All the factories are closing down. Look in your rural areas, Nebraska to Ohio to even places out here in California. You know where everything's being made at? Engines and toys and cars and all that type of stuff.
Prison.
In the prison. So you can pay them a zero. Talk to them.
That baby, that stroller you pushing your baby in, was made in the prison. That crib she's sleeping in was made in the prison.
Engines for cars, man. Not just see, they got us stuck off those 1930s movies and all that where they was making license plates. They ain't just making no license plates.
Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk.